Yesterday we have seen that Stephen Leacock entered into the studio of a photographer, and the photographer is now getting his photograph. So the next part today we are going to discuss that the photographer rolled a machine into the middle of the room and crawled into it from behind. He was in only a second, just time enough for one look at me, and then he was out again, tearing at the cotton sheet and the window panes with a hooked stick, apparently frantic for light and air. Then he crawled back into the machine again and drew a little black cloth over himself. This time he was very quiet in there. I knew that he was praying and I kept still. When the photographer came out at last, he looked very grave and shook his head. "The face is quite wrong," he said. "I know," I answered quietly. "I have always known," he sighed. "I think," he said, "the face would be better 3/4 full." "I am sure it would," I said enthusiastically, for I was glad to find that the man had such a human side to him. "So would yours, in fact," I continued. "How many faces one sees that are apparently hard, narrow, limited, but the minute you get them 3/4 full, they get wide, large, almost bundles in." But the photographer had ceased to listen. He came over and took my head in his hands and twisted it sideways. I thought he might mean to kiss me, and I closed my eyes, but I was wrong. He twisted my face as far as it would go and then stood looking at it. He sighed again. "I don't like the head," he said. Then he went back to the machine and took another look, opened the mouth a little, he said. I started to do so. "Close it," he added quickly. Then he looked again. "The ears are bad," he said. "Drop them a little more." "Thank you. Now the eyes. Roll them in under the eyelids. Put the hands on the knees, please, and turn the face just a little upwards. Yes, that's better. Now just expand the lungs. So, and bend the neck. That's it. Just contract the face. It's just a little too full." But I swung myself round on the stool. "Stop," I said with emotion, but I think with dignity. "This face is my face. It is not yours. It is mine. I have lived with it for 40 years and I know its faults. I know it's not beautiful. I know it wasn't made for me, but it's my face. The only one I have." I was conscious of a break in my voice, but I went on. "Such as it is, I have learned to love it, and this is my mouth, not yours. These ears are mine, and if your machine is too narrow," here I started to rise from the seat. Sneak! The photographer had pulled the string. The photograph was taken. I could see the machine still shaking from the shock. "I think," said the photographer with a pleased smile, "that I caught the features just in a moment of animation." So I said bitingly, "Features, you did not think I could animate them, I suppose, but let me see the picture." "Oh, there is nothing to see yet," he said. "I have to develop the negative first. Come back on Saturday and I will let you see a proof of it." On Saturday, I went back. The photographer beckoned me in. I thought he seemed quieter and graver than before. I think, too, there was a certain pride in his manner. He unfolded the proof of a large photograph and we both looked at it in silence. "Is it me?" I asked. "Yes," he said quietly. "It is you," and he went on looking at it. "The eyes," I said hesitatingly, "don't look very much like mine." "Oh, no," he answered. "I have retouched them. They come out splendidly, don't they?" "Fine," I said, "but surely my eyebrows are not like that." "No," said the photographer with a momentary glance at my face. "The eyebrows are removed. We have a process now for putting in new ones. You will notice here we have applied it to carry the hair away from the brow. I don't like the hair low on the skull. Oh, you don't you? I said. No, he went on. I don't care for it. I like to get the hair back further and make out a new brow line. What about the mouth? I said, with a bitterness that was lost on the photographer. Is that mine? It's adjusted a little, he said. Yours is too low. I found I couldn't use it. The ears, though, I said, strike me as a good likeness. They are just like mine. Yes, said the photographer thoughtfully. That is so, but I can fix that all right in the print. We have a process now for removing the ears entirely. I will see if. Listen, I interrupted, drawing myself up and animating my features to their full extent and speaking with a bitterness that should have blasted the man on the spot. I came here for a photograph, a picture, something which, bad though it seems, would have looked like me. I wanted something that would depict my face as heaven gave it to me. Humble though the gift may have been, I wanted something that my friends might keep after my death, to reconcile them to my loss. It seems that I was mistaken. What I wanted is not done. Go on then with your brutal work. Take your negative, or whatever it is you call it. Dip it in anything you like. Remove the eyes, correct the mouth, adjust the face, restore the lips, reanimate the necktie and reconstruct the waistcoat. Coat it with an inch of glass. Shade it, gild it, till even you acknowledge that it is finished. Then, when you have done all that, keep it for yourself and your friends. They may value it. To me, it is but a worthless trifle. I burst into the tears and laughed. So this is the encounter of Stephen Leacock with the photographer. What happens that the photographer is trying to change his complete looks. So he is going to add some new looks to the to the picture of the Stephen Leacock by his own. He removed the eyebrows, the mouth that was there. He is going to make changes. All his outer look, all his face is going to change. Why? The reason is simple, that the photographer is not having a sense of that personality. He is just looking towards the photograph, how it is going to fascinate others, how the photograph is going to attract others. Forget about the own original man, original photograph, original personality. And because of this, when Stephen Leacock was there in the studio to see the negatives of his photograph, at that time he was astonished to see his own photograph, and he himself is not able to recognize the photo of his own. So these are the changes that the photographer has made in the picture of the Stephen Leacock, the writer of the prose. So these are the experiences, and this is the encounter of Stephen Leacock with the photographer. अशा पद्धतीने आपण या फोटोग्राफरची आणि स्टीफन लिकॉक हा जो लेखक आहे, हा लेखक या स्टुडिओमध्ये जातो आणि त्याला फोटो घ्यायचा असतो. तो फोटो काढतो सुद्धा तो फोटोग्राफर, परंतु त्याचे आयब्रोज तो उडवून टाकतो. त्याचं कपाळ, तो त्याला म्हणतो तुझं कपाळही ठीक नाही आहे, तुझे कान ते सुद्धा बाहेर आलेले आहेत, त्यांना जरा थोडंसं वाकव, तुझी मान जरा खालीच आहे ती उंच कर, तुझं तोंड सुद्धा व्यवस्थित नाही आहे. अशा पद्धतीने तो त्याच्यावर टीका करत राहतो आणि त्यावेळेस स्टीफन लिकॉकला त्याचा भयंकर राग सुद्धा येतो. हे जे काही आहे ते देवाने मला दिलेलं आहे, निसर्गाने मला दिलेलं आहे, आणि मला माहिती आहे की माझा चेहरा नेमका कसा आहे, त्यामुळे तू आता त्याच्यावर बोलू नको असं तो त्याला म्हणतो. पण तरीसुद्धा हा फोटोग्राफर मात्र ते बोलत राहतो आणि तो रागाच्या भरात उठतो. तेवढ्याच वेळात हा त्या कॅमेराचं बटन दाबतो आणि ह्याचा फोटो निघतो आणि फोटो काढला जातो. आणि हा फोटो त्याला म्हणतो की मला दाखव माझा फोटो. तर तो म्हणतो आता काहीच नाही आहे मला माझ्याकडे तुला दाखवण्यासाठी, आता तू सॅटर्डेला ये माझ्याकडे, त्यावेळेस शनिवारी तू माझ्याकडे, त्यावेळेस मी तुला ह्याची निगेटिव्ह दाखवतो आणि मग त्यानंतर आपण तुझा हा फोटो डेव्हलप करू. आणि मग त्यावेळेस हा ज्यावेळेस निगेटिव्ह बघायला जातो आहे त्या ठिकाणी ते पाहून त्याला आश्चर्याचा धक्काच बसतो. त्याचे डोळे बाहेर आलेले आहेत, त्याचे आयब्रोज त्याला दिसत नाही आहेत, मान त्याची वाकलेली आहे, त्याचं तोंड उघडलेलं आहे, त्याच्या ओठ त्याच्यामध्ये काही ह्यांनी चेंजेस केलेले आहेत. तर अशा पद्धतीने त्याचा जो मुख्य फोटो आहे तो फोटोच हा स्वतःचा माझाच फोटो आहे हे सुद्धा स्टीफन लिकॉक ओळखू शकत नाही. तर अशा पद्धतीने या फोटोग्राफरने त्याच्या निगेटिव्हमध्ये हे सगळे बदल केले आणि त्यामुळे हा शेवटी स्वतःचाच फोटो बघण्यासाठी असमर्थ होतो, ओळखू शकत नाही हा माझाच फोटो आहे ते, आणि शेवटी रागाच्या भरात तिथून तो रडत रडत निघून जातो. तर अशा पद्धतीने या ठिकाणी एक मजेशीर अशी गोष्ट या स्टीफन लिकॉकने आपल्याला सांगितलेली आहे. त्या तिचं नाव आहे विथ द photographer. What is the duty of the photographer? As we have seen the poem Mirror, there whatever came in front of the mirror, what the duty of mirror is to provide the reflection, exact reflection on the same side. What is the duty of the photographer is to provide the exact reflection without any type of addition or without any type of subtraction. But here the changes are being made. Because of this, the Stephen Leacock get very angry on the photographer. This is a very humorous story by Stephen Leacock. Thank you.